Ex-convict number one.
Malibu Saloon.
Ex-convict
Malibu Saloon.
number one. Number one. Ex-convict. 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 Ex-convict number one.
Malibu Saloon.
Ex-convict number one.
Malibu Saloon.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up? This is ex-convict number one, Malibu Slim, and today we're going to talk about discipline. Discipline is something that is lacking in most of our black community neighborhoods. Amongst black people as a whole, from my personal experience and just from what I see, we have a big problem with discipline. We don't eat correctly. We don't wife women up. We don't have families. Everything is pretty much wild style. You know, it's almost like the Wild Wild West. And I really feel like a lot of things have to change, but it's just from small contributions of people like me and like others. They give their insights and thoughts, and they may provoke thoughts of others to change or to move towards change. But today, I really want to talk about discipline. I've been thinking about this every day for months. And, I just really feel like the lack of discipline has been our downfall as a people. I know that at times I didn't have discipline, and in every area, I remember I didn't have discipline with eating. And I really got my weight up. I got up to about 250 pounds, and that's a lot for me. I weigh 195 pounds, but I got up to 250 pounds because I was eating just at random. I had no discipline. I would eat Krispy Kreme donuts in the morning. Even before the morning was over, I would then go to In-N-Out Burger and eat a lot of, double bacon cheeseburger fries and milkshakes. I would do that 4, 5, 6 days out of the week, on top of the burrito stands, pizza, just whatever I felt at the moment, cookies. I had no discipline, almost like a child. As a child, you do things randomly and you have your parents to correct you. But what about people who end up not having a parent to correct them or to guide them, to set them straight, to give them the information that they so desperately obviously need as a child, because you don't know anything. And then you kind of grow up with the mentality of others around you that don't have parents and didn't have discipline. So you end up in the streets and end up doing things like the clip I'm about to show you. This is a representation of what's going on. This isn't an isolated incident. This is what's happening a lot. It doesn't happen at all in my world. So I don't want to hear about, well, I don't know anybody like that, or that's just the people you're around. I'm not around people like this. But this does exist a lot, and we all know it. It's almost like the elephant in the room. We see it. We all see it. We all know about it. But we kind of just don't really know what to do about it. What can you do? So you just don't acknowledge it. You just ignore it. And the problem keeps getting bigger and bigger and worse and worse. Let me just show you this real quick.
Damn, still on? It's still 8.
Now, this kind of incident, it could lead to people losing their life, or even losing their eye, or losing a limb, or period, just getting in a bad situation. Now, this all starts from a lack of discipline. Guaranteed you, the girls that are rolling around on the ground, also all the people that are around there, laughing and taking video with their phone and enjoying the fight, probably instigated it. Those people have no discipline either. And the reason why I can say that is because you're participating in it. And I can say that because I haven't done exactly that, but I have had lack of discipline sexually. I did a lot. I did a lot in my 20s that I would never do now at 50. I was really involved I was picking up hookers and just doing a lot of things, just going strictly on my urges. Even though I had my mind on what I wanted, I didn't live by any principles. My thought was, I get this feeling, I'm gonna go and do what I gotta do to take care of it. Now, we can think about discipline in a lot of areas. Discipline in just your life. You know, I ended up going to jail because I could say it was lack of discipline. I didn't take the time out to use my brain. It's funny because you use your brain to commit a crime, and I was doing fraud, so it was very complex what I had to do. And that same energy I now use positively and make much more money. Even though I was making a lot of money then, I make much more money now because I just apply myself and I apply discipline to my life. I make sure I get a certain amount of hours of sleep every day. I sleep maybe 6 or 7 hours a day. Excuse me, I was looking at something. I sleep 9 or 10 hours every day. Also, I have certain times of the day, like I eat around 5 o'clock. Around 5 o'clock is when I eat. I eat once a day. I also eat very clean. I'm not a vegetarian, but what I eat, I make sure that I just give my body the best that I can give it. Like today, I'm eating 100% green, all green, charred, yeah. I just found out what that was. I have a community garden. I have a friend who has a garden, and I go there and pick out the greens that I want. But chard, I really like that. So I'm going to get my chard today, and around 5 o'clock is when I eat, and I'm going to go and take care of that. But also today is my workout day. So I'm going to the gym for 1 hour, and then I'm going to go walk. Now, I don't want to go to the gym, but discipline is what you do when nobody else is looking. Do you still uphold the same standards for yourself? Because there's nobody else who is going to see or even care what I do. But I'm going to know that I didn't uphold my own standard. But if I do it, I'm going to know that I upheld my standard, and I'm going to feel good about myself. So when you start disciplining yourself, when you apply discipline, it's not a thing to where you do it once and then you're disciplined. You're disciplined. It's a thing that you have to constantly apply. It gets easier because you just have certain principles you live by, so you're going to do it. But it's not that it's just completely easy. It's still hard. It's still hard. It's still hard to make yourself do something that you really don't want to do. Now, one part of that is what you say to yourself. Now, I'm just going to say it because I'm on this podcast now. But, I would never say to myself, oh man, I don't feel like working out. See, I just spoke those words into my own ear, and I just defeated myself just that much more by uttering those words. What I'm going to do is say, hey, I'm going to get to it. Hey, I have a certain time that I'm going to do it. Hey, I'm going to get to it at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to start preparing whatever that is. Get my water in the fridge so it can be cold, or, get my sweats or whatever it is. I keep my gloves in the car. But, you know what I'm saying? Being disciplined, there's a lot that you can do to keep yourself disciplined, or at least bring yourself back on track when you fall off, because you're always going to go up and down. The ups and downs may be fewer as time goes on. But you're not perfect. You're a human being. So there's going to be times when you feel like it. There's going to be times when you feel like eating a certain way. You want to sneak and eat something. You want to take a cheat day, things like that. I don't do cheat days, but I don't see anything really wrong with that, as long as you have everything in perspective and you're on your horse. You don't fall off the horse. You're always on your horse, but you just kind of reach down and grab a couple of flowers here and there, just to appease yourself if you have to. I wouldn't make a habit out of it, because you'll find yourself grabbing more and more and more, and then after a while you end up not doing the thing that you're supposed to do, and you'll be doing actually the thing that you're not supposed to do, that's against your regimen, that's actually not benefiting you. I don't know if it'll harm you, depends on what it is. But having discipline, it's a task that you have to every day. It's like it's a marathon. It's something that you work on every day. I work on it every day. I'm looking at things that I've written down for myself so I won't forget. I have my glasses of water so that I can remind myself that I need to hydrate myself, because sometimes I can go a whole day and I haven't drank anything because I'm kind of sitting still or sitting in front of the computer. So I forget that regardless, I need to hydrate myself. So the discipline comes in many ways. I'm an editor, so I have a routine that I go by when I edit, and I edit every day. And I realized that for myself, now this is just for myself, but I'm giving you this information because maybe it could be beneficial, but everybody's different. But for me, editing, over the years, I would edit, and I was getting good at it. And I had a business at one time shooting weddings. I just don't do it anymore. I stopped because I just don't really want to do it. It was fun while it lasted. But basically, now I'm doing what I want to do. So with editing, I found that it is more beneficial for me to edit every day, to contribute to it every day. And then it gives me the feeling of accomplishment that everybody needs. And it fulfills me because it's something I really love doing. But it is a task. It's not easy. It's something that is very cerebral. It's something that you have to put your effort into if you want to get out of it what you are expecting out of it. You know, what you put in is what you get out of it. So with editing, I found that I put in a certain amount of hours every day, then I'm going to get the product that I'm looking for. And then I also realized by putting in those hours, I realized that I don't know as much as I think I know, even though I know a lot. I've been editing for 15 years. I use Final Cut Pro, and I love it. I love editing. I love Final Cut Pro. I just learned something else this week about sound. That's the one thing that I love about editing and the Final Cut Pro program. There's so many intricate details to this that it doesn't just get completed. Like, I don't know everything. There's so much. Sometimes I see editors on YouTube and I see some new techniques or new programs and I go, wow, that's something that I never knew existed and something I totally didn't know how to do. But then I learned, and then I have something else under my belt. So with editing, you know, there's discipline. There's discipline with everything. With people, you know, something I learned recently with women specifically. You know, I mean, now you have to be dealing with a righteous woman, a woman that's right. But, you know, I learned a lot about myself. You know, dealing with a woman that I'm dealing with, I've been talking to, I learned so much about myself just this week that I figured I already had covered, but come to realize that I totally have to work on certain areas of myself. So that's discipline, because I have to be mindful of it and I have to execute it. Now, the only way I can execute this thing that has to do with women is I have to interact with a woman. But that's something that I learned. You know, I was in a relationship and 2018 is when it ended. So I said, hey, I'm backing up. You know, it was kind of a harsh ending. So, you know, I backed up from relationships and backed up. But, you know, that was really, it was good for the moment. You know, you don't just jump into another relationship. But after about a year, I still told myself, hey, I'm not getting involved in another relationship or any interaction. So I was on monk mode, what they call monk mode, basically to myself and only dealing with myself. And that's it, 100%. Now, from 2018 is 2022 now, from 19, 20, 20. So 3 years of not dealing with anybody, not interacting. So then I started interacting with somebody, and I think I have it all covered because I went over everything in my mind about what I like and what I've been through and what I'm going to accept and this and that and what I'm not going to accept. And, you know, I thought it was going cool, you know, in the beginning, but then I realized that I made it a disaster. Because why? I have no, I don't know if you want to call it social skills, but I do have social skills because I do business. But just in the area of relationship, no interaction to just interaction, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. But fortunately for me, the woman that I've been dealing with, she recognized that even though she was hurt, she really talked to me and we really came to some new conclusions, and I came to some new revelations about myself. And, you know, that comes from, I guess, you know, you have to go through the hard to get to the good. You go through the bad to get to the good, you know, go through the hard parts, because I don't see any other way that, you know, how any other way that I could have come to the realization that I'm at now. The realization that I was at just, say, a month ago or a week ago, actually, was that oh yeah, I'm ready for a relationship. I know I'm gonna be good to a woman, and I'm a catch. I make money, got my stuff together. I'm drug free. I'm keep myself in shape. I'm tall, slim. Everything, right? But then all that stuff is necessary, but it's surface. And then now at this point, I realize, man, I want a relationship, but man, I need to really get myself together because I'm going to damage somebody with this mindset. It's almost kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost kind of like, wow, you know what I mean? Just really looking at myself. So, it's a matter of opinion, but this is my opinion. And I look at it like, wow, everything happens for a reason. I know the good quality of a man that I am, but I do recognize the things that I have to work on, that I have to correct, so that I don't bring hurt to a woman that I care about so much, that I'm trying to build a relationship with. So that comes with discipline. What's the discipline in that? The discipline is recognizing where you were wrong, acknowledging it, coming out of your comfort zone at the times when you want to be in your comfort zone. You know what they are. When you want to be in your comfort zone, you need to come out of your comfort zone and deal with the issue based on what you've learned. What I've learned at this point, I know not to ever return to where I was before, how I responded to certain things before, how I even felt about certain things before. I don't even feel that way anymore. I feel a certain way about some things. I don't want to get into the exact things, because I don't want to make this about that. I just want to make it into I just want to convey self-development, self-improvement. I want anybody listening to this to understand that I want you to improve yourself, because it is a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that even if I haven't improved myself, it's just to know that I recognize where I need to improve, and that I'm working on it, and that I'm mindful of it, and that I'm going to improve. That's very, as they say, empowering. It's very empowering. It makes you feel more in control. I'm really big on discipline. I'm really big on control. I'm really big on having integrity. So all those things fall in line with you acknowledging your faults, and then you doing something about them so that you can move forward, so you won't hurt yourself and hurt other people. Because, I always think to myself, any interaction that I have with anybody, I always want it to be a positive interaction. I want to walk away from that situation, leaving the other person with something positive, a thought, a frame of mind, something that has to do with my presence in their life. The time wasn't wasted. They were enhanced. And I too want to only deal with situations where I feel that I can be enhanced, but I don't want it to be one-sided. I want myself and the other person to always walk away feeling that the interaction that they had with me was a positive one, and they want to have more interactions with me because of the previous interactions. You understand what I mean? I want to make sure that you understand that this all starts with discipline. What you eat, how you sleep. If you're a fornicator, if you're a liar, if you're a person that just does anything, if you're a thief, if you sell drugs, and you're cutting off in your mind the fact that you're destroying a person's life, you're contributing to the destruction of a person's life and all the people that are around that person, you can't consciously sell drugs and believe that you're doing the right thing just because there's a lot of people around you that are yes men because you have money and they're condoning everything you're doing. Discipline. Discipline. Discipline is very important in every situation. How you conduct yourself when you walk out of your house is discipline. If you're a man, how you control your emotions and control your environment around you, that's discipline. It takes discipline. Nothing happens overnight. So you can't look at any situation and think that you're going to just become disciplined tomorrow. I'm a person that I feel I'm very successful, financially successful. I know I am. And I have a lot of areas to work on though. But the areas that I know that I'm good is finance, and I take very good care of my body. I eat very well. I watch my weight every day. I weigh myself. I have a regimen. I take care of myself, partially because I came down with multiple sclerosis. So I've become very mindful to make sure that I live symptom free. I found a way to become symptom free, and I make sure that I remain symptom free. So my discipline with my eating and the care, self-care, is immaculate. Now, other areas I need to work on. My area of relationship is something that is very important to me, and I don't have it down pat. I don't have it down pat, but I want to. The desire is there, and I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. And I'm just taking it a day at a time, but every day I actively, as much as I can, put my mind to focus to where I want to be at. So the things that I can do something about, like credit and money and the system, the banking systems and things like that, loans and lines of credit and things like that, things that I have my finger on, I'm constantly staying ahead of that, of all those things, to make sure that I'm good. But also in the relationship category, even if I could just send a text, even if I could just have a short conversation, I want to be mindful of what I text and what I say, that it's enriching her and that she's getting something out of the interaction with me, even if it's small. I learned a lot recently about myself, and I owe a lot of it to her. And it just is phenomenal how you can hear something from somebody and it can totally open your mind up. That's why I'm doing this podcast. That's why I realize that what I say could really affect somebody in a great way and totally change your life. Why? Because I have received the same thing, and I am a witness. Words are very powerful. We all can be a witness to that. But I'm saying positive words, right? Things have been said to me that have made me totally realize the person that I was being to other people or to another person specifically. And I always, value myself as being a person in control, being in control of things. But when you hear it from somebody else, you have to interact with people. There's no other way around it. I tried to not interact with anybody. And you can grow in certain areas, but your growth stops as far as your interaction because you're not interacting, and when you're interacting with people and everything is superficial, like you're getting high and that's the only way that you want to interact. You're drinking, smoking, fornicating, every interaction has to be that. It's really the same thing. You're stifling yourself. You're stifling your growth because it will end at some point. It will end. Everything has a beginning and an end. So you just have to decide if you want that beginning to be rich and you want it to be full of substance, and then the same thing, your end. Do you want the end to be rich and full of substance? You have control over that. You have control over how you interact, what you say, what you don't say. You have control over all of that. You even have control over how you feel, because it's how you feel. The key word is you. You are the one that has the feeling. You are the one that doesn't have the feeling. It all comes from your thought process. Now, you can say, oh, well, this person did this, so I felt this way. But if you had a certain frame of mind or thought process, maybe you would or wouldn't feel a certain way, because everybody's not going to feel a certain way by the same thing. Like, say, if somebody called you the N-word, some people will get really pissed off about that, depending on who said it. If a black girl said it, oh, nigga, please. Nigga, you need to stop tripping. Might go over your head. But if a white person said it, hey, nigger, you might lose your effing mind. Okay? So, you still can't put the power in anyone else's hands. You woke up in the morning, you're having a great day, and then somebody says something to you, and then you are in complete control. The other person is in complete control of you, because they can say a word and you will totally go off your rocker, totally go off your square, and become an entirely different person depending on who said what to you. So you have to think about your discipline. Where is it at? Where does your discipline lie? How strong is your discipline? You know what I mean? Like, where's it at? When I say where is it at, I mean, where are you at? Is your discipline strong? Or is your discipline, does it just blow with the wind? Can a person just come in and say something to you and totally change your mood and your attitude? Or can you stand firm and still be the same person regardless of your interaction? Now, that's of whatever interaction you had. Now, I'm not saying that's something that's easy. I probably am in a different place than a lot of people are, but I remember not being in this place before. I remember when I could snap at a word, but now, I have more discipline and logic behind most of my actions, pretty much all of my actions. So I just want to express to you that discipline is a journey that we all have to take individually. There's no one cookie cutter way. Some people need to do 20 push-ups every morning to get started. Some people need to do 20 push-ups every night or once a week. Some people need to fast for a day, once a week or a couple of days. You see, everybody has a different way about themselves, but the thing is, everybody should, I really feel, every person needs to find a place of discipline in their life, and the quality of your life will improve. This is ex-convict number 1, Malibu Slim.
Ex-convict number 1.
Malibu Slim.
Ex-convict
Malibu Slim.
number 1. Number 1. Ex-convict. 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 Ex-convict number 1.
Malibu Slim.
Ex-convict number 1.
Malibu Slim.
Let's go.